Hello, I am so excited because today I have with me Holly Kapusinski, who is a mentor and colleague of mine. She is the sole proprietor of Life Cycle Balance LLC, and she is also faculty at the Integrative Nurse Coach Academy. Thank you, Holly, for joining me. I think what we will do first, I've been asking everybody the same question because the goal really is just to raise awareness of what we do as nurse coaches. So could you tell us a little bit about what integrative nurse coaching means to you and how you would describe that to someone?
Well, thank you, Tara, for inviting me to this interview. It's such a privilege to be able to share something that's very, very deeply entwined in my life and in my professional career, and that is coaching. I actually, when I ponder this question about what it is, I feel like I have been a nurse coach probably since I was inculcated into nursing. And what it means to be an integrative nurse coach, board certified is that I look at the whole person. When somebody works with me, I am concerned about every area of their life, not just their physical, but also their social, emotional, psychological. Everything that has importance to them is important to me. So I don't distinguish between whether or not they're coming to see me for some medical condition or whether or not they're having some other type of issue. But I want to see the whole person.
I love that. It is the whole person that we work with. And we tend to forget that that's a really important part of our journey. And especially as nurses, I mean, in many situations, we've been trained to kind of leave those other parts out of the conversation. And I feel like what the experience the Nurse Coach Academy has given me is to remember that that's all part of that journey. So I love that definition. It is the whole person that we're working with.
Yes.
So one of the things recently that I've recognized is that I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. And I've always been that way. I have a dream of someday writing a book and, doing that. That'll come one of these days. But I was really excited to see as I was going through my program that story theory was something that we use as nurse coaches. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how we use story theory to move through challenge or suffering or pain. And as a nurse coach, some things that we can just start doing today to apply and use story theory in our life.
Yeah, I think I share that with you. I feel like I have been a storyteller from a very young age. It was something that I did quite frequently. And actually, as I move through the world, I believe that I see the world in story. So my client's story is very important to me when I'm working with them. And I think that it's a way to see someone's high points and low points. It's a way to help connect with a person. Yep. And to bring authenticity to the interaction so that I am understanding that I am not the expert in their story. They are the expert in their story. And it's very important for them to be able to share what it is that they know about themselves from their life of story. So I would like to just demonstrate that with a client that I had. And I didn't do such a great job with integrating in their story, or it was an eye-opener to me exactly how important story is to somebody. And I had been working with a client who was trying to reintroduce themselves into nutrition. They had been really restricting how much they were eating, and we had made arrangements to go to the grocery store. So that we could move and be in the grocery store and to just interact with food in a healthy way and to be available to them so that they could ask questions. And it came up as I was doing this, she brought up what she does before she goes to the grocery store in order to deal with some of the cravings or issues that she experiences while she's in the grocery store, which was to brush her teeth before she goes.
Okay.
And it struck me that I would have never known that or even addressed that or even thought that that might be an intervention in working with her had I not been just fully present,
Mm,
listening to her, asking questions, and hearing what it was that she was utilizing in her own life to help herself.
wow.
So that was a very powerful lesson for me to always be attuned to what it is that the client and the person is saying
Mm,
and hearing, and then asking them about it because it obviously has great importance to them, and they are trying different things. That doesn't necessarily happen while you go to the doctor. The
mm,
doctor doesn't say to you, I'd like you to take this pill and this is going to help with this. And then the patient doesn't get to come back and say, well, I tried it and this is what happened, or this is what I found was helpful for me. That doesn't occur. And so I feel that as a nurse coach, we have a great opportunity to work alongside people to find
mm.
out what is going to be beneficial for them.
Oh, I love that. And I love that example. And I think about an exchange that you and I had when I was going through the program, and my dad was very ill, and you shared a story with me, and then I shared my story. And after that moment, I started to see things a little bit differently. And at the time, I don't know if you realized it, but you were absolutely coaching me with that story. You probably did realize it. That was your goal. But I came out of that experience and I said, boy, that really helped me to see things a little bit differently. And I had been seeing them one way, and now it's, oh, here's this lens. But then I also identified some areas where I was doing a pretty good job. So it was really powerful. And then I think it was about a week or two later, we might have had, or maybe it was before that, we had the story map example. And then I started working with some clients and I had somebody create a story map of their life and then share that with me. And what I learned from that person was so much more than I could have ever learned had I just said, tell me about your life. So, I feel like the story map is a really cool tool that we can use just to say, map out, here's your experience, and map that out. And then we listen and we guide.
Yes.
So, such a great thing. Do you have any experience with the story map, or how you've used that?
I have not personally used the story map in the way that you're describing,
Mm,
other than, like just reading about it. But I feel that that is just such a deep part of myself that that is something that's a little bit more natural for me. I love
yeah.
hearing people's stories, and I'm trusting in my inner wisdom and my
Mm,
intuitiveness to be able to find out or ask people what part of their story is important to them, or to
yeah.
address an area that may be difficult for them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I love your example, and I also think that's very valuable when you have somebody who's not really sure how they want to address changes in their life, to
Mm,
kind of get an overall sense to have them do something like that. Many people don't spend enough time in reflection to look at their story, to see
absolutely.
what their strengths are, to see what have been some of those high and low points and
Mm,
areas where they really have excelled and been
mm,
able to pull from their inner strength and wisdom.
yes. Yes. So powerful when we do that.
Yeah.
So tell me, so first of all, if somebody wants to connect with you, how would they connect with you, and where would they find you? And then what are some services that you provide?
I have a website, lifecyclebalance.llc.
Beautiful
Um,
website, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. And I absolutely love it. I actually have, my brand behind me, which is like part of my story in one of my blogs, which is Red, my
Mm,
favorite bike that I was able to purchase when I was 16. And this is Red. He's been with me for,
oh,
40 years, 42 years. So he's a big part of my life.
mm,
Um, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. Although I'm going to be taking kind of a reprieve for the next 40 days because I'm going to go a little bit more interior as we move in through Lent, and just do some inner work during
Mhm.
that time. I might be offering some coaching during that time, though, on Sundays, just to rebalance and renew people. So if they're interested, they can certainly email me and let me know if that would be something they would be interested in, and I could let them know if that takes
Okay.
place. Um, and then some of the services that I offer are, I love to do personalized health and wellness plans for people.
Mm.
I do have advanced clinical nutrition. Um, so I'm able to work with people who might have specific areas that they need
Mm.
assistance in, whether that's with diabetes or cardiac issues,
Mm.
metabolic issues, recovering from illness. Um,
Oh,
I
maybe
feel e-
maybe even recovering from COVID. We're seeing all these long haul
absolutely.
COVID. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I have a mitochondrial food plan that I like to
Wow.
utilize, that I have utilized on myself because I myself have experienced that, and have underlying conditions. So sometimes I
Mm.
use those to help myself as well. And then I really believe in the foundation of wellness. So working with people on sleep,
Mm.
mindset, breath work, and stress.
Mhm.
And my favorite of all time is nonviolent communication. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
working with people to help to strengthen relationships, especially with themselves.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that one. That's a favorite of mine too. I feel like I'm just now starting that though. Just now starting that. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share before we say goodbye? You,
Yes, I would like to share
yeah.
my tool that people can use right away. I was thinking about this, and something that I have actually been using over the past few months, really
Awesome.
very diligently, and I have found just enormous benefits from, is
Mm.
box breathing,
Oh,
learning how to box breathe. And I
okay.
find this is really helpful at night if you're having trouble with insomnia, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you're feeling a little
Mm.
anxious. It's also a great tool to use before you go to bed to promote relaxation. Um, Also, if you're getting ready to study or you need to
Mm.
attend to some task, it helps with focus. So, box breathing is basically, you start off with counting to 4 as you inhale through your nose,
Mhm.
hold for 4, and then release through your mouth for a count of 4.
Okay.
And if that's too difficult at the count of 4, then you can start with 3. So inhale for a count of 3, hold for a count of 3, and exhale through the mouth for a count of 3. And
Very.
this will just, if you do that 4 cycles,
Mm.
and you can do it anywhere. You can do it while you're in the car. You can do it, like I said, before you go to bed. You can do
Mm.
it while you're in the grocery store line.
I love that.
Um, it's a very easy tool to
So
utilize.
simple. Anybody can use it. And we forget how important breathing is.
Yes,
we
we do.
It's something we take for granted,
It is.
but we that is the only physiological system that we have control over is our breath.
Right.
So thank
Absolutely.
you so much for that reminder. And I love that. I'm going to use that tool. This
Well,
has been
thank you
great.
for letting me share it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I really appreciate it. And I know that others will appreciate it too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.